If you guys don't know, there's a chat button on the right-hand side. I don't know where it is on the mobile, but happy Friday, everybody. I'm gonna get Rare Breed up in here with us. It looks like, oh, there he is. I see it.
All right, can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. It looks like I can hear you.
Yeah, give me just a second. I'm just trying to work my volume up a little bit. I can just hear it very softly, man. Yeah, we got into that. I turned it up. The volume on my phone's all the way up. I don't know. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. Oh, I can sit
Cool.
here and talk to you.
Hell yeah. Let's hit 30. Come on, send an invite. Tell somebody it's a Fire Friday. We're here with Brad from Breed Humboldt. Shout out to Brad
Yeah,
too.
appreciate it, man.
If you want to, if you want to mess with the volume and figure it out, I'm gonna do one more announcement. Oh, we got 29. Let's hit that 30. First of all, welcome everybody. Thanks for joining on this fine Friday afternoon of inspiration and fun. Brought to you by Ton. We're still number one, baby. If this is your first smoke break, drop some emojis and stickers one more time. Let Rare Breed know the vibes. You guys are lit. Thank you to all the Rare token holders, everybody that grabbed a waffle early. You guys saw some of the fire offerings that are coming to the seed bank. You grabbed those early. Shout out to you for supporting the new drop. If anybody has the link, there's a couple left. Go ahead and check those out. They all come with something from the new offering. Nobody misses, and the grand prize winner gets a pack of everything. Make sure you check that out. You are now tuned in to Smoke Breaks, the world's dankest podcast. Spliffs on spliffs are the most fire conversations from around the globe surrounding culture, history, cultivation, and the breeding of cannabis. All that and a lot more brought to you by the Upper Node. So go on and light that spliff and get into your zone as this epic Smoke Break episode unfolds. Today for EP445, we're bringing down the fire. I fucked that up. We're going to have to redo. Today for EP445, we're bringing the fire down from the hill. I'm honored to be here with a new friend of the Upper Node, one of my new favorite breeders, added to the top 5, a spliff ninja to the max, and a man who embodies the essence of Northern California's cannabis and skate culture. Let's give a massive shout out and warm welcome to Brad of Rare Breed Humboldt. Brad was born and raised in Humboldt County. From playing with fire to opening Humboldt Skate Lab, I'm excited to learn more about the histories and dive into some of the projects Rare Breed has going on currently, as they strive to create and identify true quality genetics within their library and network. You know what we do around here? No mids, no undercover mids, straight fire all the time. 25/8, 365. So if you're here and active and you're down with the Spliff Ninjas, light it up in the chat. Let's show Brad some love and let's get this smoke break burning. Once again, thanks Brad for joining us today. I really do appreciate you coming up here.
No, yeah, appreciate it. Let me use the platform, get a chance to represent Humboldt, what we're doing out here, man.
What's your favorite genre of music? What kind of music you like?
Fuck, man. I used to be in love with Sublime and shit like that for
There we
years when I
go.
was a kid growing up. Grew up on old rock, Leonard Skinner and Rolling Stones when I was a kid.
Hell yeah.
That was like a little anthem on the hill when I was growing up. And I
Hell
don't know,
yeah.
listen to all Primus. I got a pretty broad band of music I listen to.
That's sick. And also
Got a
Humble
little
Skate Lab.
melodies and shit.
Who's your favorite skater, professional skater of all time? Do you have
Shit,
one?
man. Meek, Keith Meek. He rides for
Okay.
Santa Cruz forever. He's out of Santa Cruz. He's got the slasher graphic that's one of the longest running graphics in skateboarding. It's been almost 40 years or something. They've been running that graphic, doing reissues and shit. He's a cool guy, personally, and he's down in Santa Cruz. He did some little collabs with some of my team riders from my skate shop. He hooked them up and did like sick ass window cling with a photo that a couple of buddies of mine got down at the skate park and shit. And it's been on my windows, the window of my storefront at the skate shop for a few years now. And homie's all proud of it. It was cool to get a local ripper, a little collab with an old pro that's got his own business now, Meekster Brow.
Yeah, write it down, guys. That's a dope one.
Yeah, them guys
Santa
rip up down there at
Cruz.
Derby Skate Park. Santa Cruz, since back in the day, back in the early 80s, he was pro up in the 90s, and he's still riding for him now, current. But yeah, he's my favorite for sure.
That's dope.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them guys, when you get deep into it, you realize what role they actually played other than just skating or what people seen in videos.
Right.
A lot of them went well beyond just being pro for some company, and they actually had an influence in skateboarding. Some of those are more the ones you want to look up to and to be idolized versus just who had the best video parts, because a lot of them were shitheads in real life.
100%. They got the highlight reels and shit. That's funny. That's a good perspective too. That translates. It's very
You get good
parallel.
clips, but you might treat people like shit while you're doing it. So I don't really idolize too many of them. Try not to help promote too much of that, too much skate shop and the youth that we work with.
That's a good parallel. And we will get into the skateboarding stuff later. Like I mentioned, you guys, if you heard the Humble Skate Lab is something we'll be touching on in a little bit. Rock and roll and Keith Meek.
Keith Meek, yeah.
Yep.
Keith
All right.
Meek, MEK.
There you go. Drop it in the chat if you guys got that one. So we got it. Sick. Hell yeah. I'm honored to be here and joining us. And like you said, represent Humboldt. Just,
Yeah, man.
I think
Appreciate it.
let's take it back before Rare Breed and take it back a little bit further before everything else, skate shop and all that. And maybe give us a little insight on your history and passion with cannabis, when it all started.
Pretty much about third generation. My grandfather and father used to do it together up in the hills. My grandfather was a logger, and my dad was a fucking hippie. And basically, grandfather used to know where all the access roads are at and know how to get to places, knew where there was water. And my dad had a couple donkeys, and this is back in the mid to late 70s before I was born when he got
Mhm.
started in it. And I was born in 79. By then, he'd already had plotted out little guerrilla groves where he knew the area up and down southern Humboldt and eastern Humboldt into Willow Creek and Densmore area, on down there in Phillipsville and Garberville. Them being so deep in it and got my mom, to me that it just seemed like they were trying to homestead and had the garden in the back. Fucking yeah, my dad grew pot and probably grow as much of it as he could, even though he had to hide it in the shade. He wasn't scared to grow a couple few hundred plants and shit. Went a little big. We ended up getting. I was 3 and my sister was 1, and we got fucking rolled up by camp out in Kitten Palm in Alder Point in southern Humboldt. Ended up took me and my sister to a foster home for that one until the grandparents came and got us, and mom and dad went to jail. So I guess the introduction to us 3 years old getting busted by camp is a true
Damn.
family thing. I didn't know. 3 years old, you don't know what the hell's going on at the time, but we recovered from it as a family and a group, whatever. A year or two later, we'd recovered, but it ended up happening again. Got busted again, and I was like 5, and it was in a different location. It was more up in northern Humboldt, up in outside of Eureka,
Hmm.
and that was a big deal. Made a lot of impact on the family and shit. It happened 3 years old, kind of deep out in the woods, and then near the town. It happened again at 5, and dad was getting in a lot of shit over it, and everything just kind of switch up. But born and raised in Humboldt, man, you're just born around it. And it wasn't until I was probably at like 10, 12, shit like that, I really started catching on to people were selling this shit and making money and smoking and all that. And my
Yep.
dad started coming around, letting me come around the areas a little bit more as I became a teenager and showed me the ropes a little bit, how to make soil, how to trim your pot, how to up pot, how to do all this shit. So I was a teenager, 12, 13, 14. I was fucking doing little backyard plants with them that some would make it, some wouldn't. We lived on the coast, so some shit would
Hmm.
mold out before it even get done. And we were doing some cool shit. And then, learned that it's a currency in Humboldt when I was fucking mid-teens. So that was cool. Get what I needed with it. Get a new skateboard, new bike parts,
Right.
all this shit if I had some pot.
So a lot of people, they're from a lot of different places in the chat. Can you give a good visual of what Humboldt is? I don't think a lot of people know it. What Humboldt is? I don't know what people think of it or what it is. You
Yeah,
know.
yeah. So Emerald Triangle's 3 counties, and when they're put together, they form somewhat of a triangle shape. And
Hmm.
it's in Northern California, and it pretty much goes from just north of Santa Rosa to south of Oregon, and goes east from like Willow Creek to Densmore. Anyway, the Emerald Triangle's the Trinity, Mendocino, and Humboldt County. Yeah, we're up here in Northern California, right on the Eureka, where I'm at, right on the coast. We operate all inland mostly because it's hard to cultivate here on the coast. We do a lot of R&D to find out what does good here, but a lot of our
Hmm.
real shiners get done inland.
Now, when did you start going in? What were some of the first strains over there before
Yeah,
popular
it
strains
was
and
seeds back before I got into it, and by the time I got into it, it's starting to get into clones. Like as I'm 13, 14, 15 years old, I think more clones started coming on board. Some of the first shit I remember that even had names to it, 'cause we used to call it all green bud or kind bud, green bud or brickweed, and it was like the old Mazzari, old skunk, fucking Burmese. And that was in the early 90s when I was just barely learning even what weed strains were. And then after that, we started having things around like Northern Lights. And let's see, Northern Lights was heavy. And then got into there from like the Urkel and the Granddaddy. And I think when about the time the Urkel and the Granddaddy come around 2000 or something, was when we kicked it into gear a little bit and we started doing a little more production. People were getting a little more braver. And I
which
went
one do
from
you
just
like
hiding
better,
it in the,
Urkel or the Granddaddy? Which one do you think? Isn't Granddaddy is Urkel cross with something there? So
they're related.
yeah,
But probably a Granddaddy dude. It's the right one. Like not the Ken's cut. There's
not the
another one that
Kenska.
floats around it.
There's another one.
Not to knock that one. It's just the one that we had and operated with for years. Just
Mm-hmm.
the right one. You get it in the joint, it's lacking.
Urkel's a good one.
Damn
He's
near all of
purple.
them, man. I got into the train wrecks and Big Bud and Mr. Nice. We went through a whole lot of production plants that would put on a bunch of weight, like Mr. Nice and Big Bud and shit like this. But
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't really, once OG came out, everything just stepped to the side, and OG was like 90% of everybody's crops. It was just that sought after. It was that good, just
Right.
that fucking good. If you knew how to grow it, if you wouldn't be chopping a week 8.5 and shit, and you'd push it and take care of your shit and pick your mold out so you can make it to week 10, you're crushing and pulling a fucking 100 pounds out of 1,000 square feet. But a lot of these people cutting it down immature, but OG really set a new bar as far as I think Chem Dog was probably running the shit before that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? As far as like the heady shit that was going on and getting passed around and people bragging about.
Hell yeah. What
Well,
was your personal favorite?
OG is my OG. That's probably the SFE
OG.
is probably my favorite. Yeah,
SFEOG? Hell yeah.
I think we just had the cut up here that just hit.
That fire one. We'll get into some of these newer projects soon, but I do want to get into. You posted the name that you went by before Rare Breed. What was that one?
That was homegrown original. That was just an old when I first started posting weed pictures and shit. That was the account I used for that, and you got a lot of good content on there, man. Somebody was to go through that page. It's a cool page, man. There's a lot of shit for 2, 3, 4 years that I was out in the field, up in the hills, fucking running through rivers and just doing cool shit. I see a lot of pot, a lot of different flower, different strains. See me evolving into more growing greenhouses for flower, into seed production and shit like that. And then when I started a rare breed, just because I couldn't keep up with too many, I just aborted that one. I use it for a backup when I get kicked off lives and shit. I'm just kicked off whatever. They be restricting me for some dumb shit.
Yeah.
But I had to start using rare breed, and I just basically the main account now. The other one's still there, it's still active. I don't check it much, but some cool content on there. It's not on the rare breed page, so people are into just looking at content and growing styles and techniques and looking at the greenhouses we were growing and pulling tarp on all that shit. You can peek through there,
Mm-hmm.
and there's lots of cool shit.
Super black belt in the greenhouse. What?
We're savvy in the greenhouse for sure. I think a lot of us up here know how to use the outdoor sun,
Right.
get that sun grown dialed. If I can get a, that'd probably be the best representation you can get of some pot to really see what it'll do is put it out in the sun, let it go full term, and
Mm-hmm.
when you're depping it, you can get a better look and all that. Probably prefer a good full term sun grown outdoor
Mm-hmm.
versus a lot of the indoor. Even grown myself, even if I'm growing or not somebody else, I just prefer the outdoor version. Just
Some people say it's
see,
stronger, but some people say
yeah.
aside from the flavor differences and whatnot.
Can't
So
break it down scientifically for you right now because I'm lit, but I can
right.
fucking vouch for the fact that to me it hits my palate better and I fucking just enjoy it.
Yeah.
It's hard to size that up in some proof for somebody. It just makes me feel good. I can
Right.
notice the difference. I can notice the difference in one high versus the other. One just got a couple extras that seem.
Greenhouse.
Yeah, I'm an SOV head, man. That's what got me on fucking being a heady smoker.
SFEOG. Hell yeah. I
Yeah,
love a good
those are the
OG
ones.
too. I love a good OG too. So I do want to get into some of the stuff that we're dropping. You have some really cool things going on with that purple gorilla, that blueberry Chem 91, which I want to know about too. But I do want to open
Mm.
up the story a little bit more. So fast forward, how did Rare Breed come about?
Made my first seeds probably 15 years ago, just
Hmm.
with the cousin in the backyard. 'Cause we had some males that we were playing with, but it was probably 4, 5, 6 years ago that I started making batches of seeds, and it took a couple of years of me just keeping them tight to me and passing them out to some friends and shit before I started making them available to anybody. And it was
Right.
probably 3 years ago, 4 years ago that I started a rare breed and just had to put a brand behind it just because we were starting to do events and I was getting invited to Emerald Cup and just the different seed swaps and swaggle parties and ego clash and just the different things I was getting invited to set up to booth my seeds and shit.
Hell yeah, that's dope. I personally really like the name. I like the authenticity behind it as well. Super sick, and it's dope for you to be open to do the exclusives and whatnot. Everybody in the chat, drop them rare breed stickers if you're in here, and if you haven't seen the new line, I think only a couple of them are up. So I do want to talk about a few of the things on there, and then also if you're down, I want to chop it up on some hash. I know we got some resin heads in here, some hash heads in the chat, always talking about the differences and whatnot, and There is an importance
Yeah.
there, so I do want to touch on that.
Yeah, you're asking questions about the blueberry chem that I work heavy with, man. The years up here, we've had a number of people dab into the breed, and some got really good at it, and some didn't. And some of these old guys, man, that are up in the fucking hills, just knew their shit, man. And for
Hmm.
decades, 20, 30, 40 years, these guys are up here throwing down and finding genetics and just making them stable as fuck. And I had a guy named David Cooper that was from Densmore. He was an old man, and he used to let me run up there and bring him clones and shit to play with and breed with. And he'd show me his big 10, 12-pound plants and shit. And I'd just sit
Hmm.
there and like, fuck, dude, like this dude's my hero, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
And this, over the years, we developed a good friendship. And he was the big breeder on the hill. I was more doing nurseries and doing clones and shit.
Hmm.
But he passed away a few years ago. And when he passed away, we had a funeral. And at his funeral, some of his family members kicked me down some of these seeds, the blueberry Chem 91 seeds. They were from him. And he started with the blueberry train wreck. And he'd worked that for a long time up on his hill in Densmore. And
Fire.
then he took the blueberry train wreck, and our buddy was bringing clones of the Chem 91 up from the Bay Area. So he ended up putting it on that, and that's what I got a hold of those. So when I got a hold of those seeds, it was just like, we take this shit serious up here, and it's generational and all that. So you get sentimental about the shit, and
I've
those seeds meant a lot. And I knew that I was hunting for a male, and that pollen's almost like his ashes, man. And I
right.
work with some nurseries. I work with some nurseries up here throughout the year. The main one is buddy Matt up there at ETO, Emerald Triangle Organics. He's up in Cave Junction, Oregon right now, but he runs out some shit, man. He's got a couple acres of canopy and a couple 10, 20,000 square foot nursery, and he really kills it up there, man. Got a real
Wow.
nice setup, but the shit they run out, man, is just like all this high end seed junkie shit, all the
Hmm.
$300 and $500 seed packs you're buying everywhere. Like
Right.
he goes to Emerald Cup and buys his clone for $500 like everybody else, but he goes up there and runs it out and puts the cuts in his nursery and shit. And then in 2022, I went up there and helped him partake in the sizing up of all these varieties that he did. Had a
Hmm.
big greenhouse that he ran out. And basically, long story short, I was able to bring back all the winning keeper cuts and put the blueberry chem on the library and on a fat section of the library.
Nah,
And
it's where the
we
blueberries comes from. We got some of that up there. I think that's
so
the
the
Skittles.
blueberries is just the pure Skittles, the original Skittles, not a hybrid Skittles, the original one that we've had passed around up here for quite a while. Everybody, if you got the right one, everybody
Now,
know it. You know.
a question. I don't know if we can talk about it, but who made the Skittles?
I don't know. I don't want to get hit with a microphone, but somebody fucking greener fields or fucking I don't know. Terpogs might have something to say about. I
Like
don't.
I made.
I can't even get into it. I don't even know. I know them dudes separately, but I don't know who they're affiliated with or not. So I can't even
I,
say either way. I'll get caught up in that one.
we actually were supposed to have a podcast with Turpogs.
We've had the
We
right cut
did.
up here forever.
That
It's
shit
pretty
fire.
much been verified.
And that's in the
And
one that we
anyway,
got. That's in the blueberries that you
yeah, the
guys don't know
blueberry.
it. You better get
Yeah,
that.
so that one actually has a nice blueberry taste that comes with it. Like when you smoke and smell that one, man. Like out of all of them, I think that because I think probably more the chem. When a lot of the crosses I made with the blueberry chem, I think you see a lot of chem come through and the structure and just the big heads and shit it gave it made a lot of shit sandy that wasn't sandy as far as like for that shit. That blueberries, the when the Skittles went on the blueberry it's like a little subtle candy blueberries thing going on, man. I was really stoked because I've only had a couple of strains, the blueberry flavor leaning.
Nah, that's a good one. That's a good one. Hell yeah. I got a couple personal favorites in here that I want to touch on too. Someone been posting that G Mob is a good one. I say G Mob, but I'm pretty sure it's GMOB, right? But
Yeah,
I like G
that's
Mob.
the
It sounds sick. G
yeah
Mob.
from BioVortex. Jesse at BioVortex. He's a local up here in Humboldt, and
Okay.
he's been breeding for hash for a long time. And he works with some really good guys, and I believe that's his GMO by Banana OG.
Fire. And
But
just so you
he
guys,
had cool graphics and shit for that one.
did he? There are some with that GMOB?
Yeah, he made some yeah, and they call it Grown Man on Bikes, and it's got a garlic, a banana, something, and the flavors that are in it, and they're like riding bikes,
Fire.
it's a bike that four people can ride. Like I don't know what they
Who is
call it.
that one by again? Just so the people in the chat know.
Say what?
Who was that one by again?
Jesse with BioVortex.
Biovortex.
Yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah.
out of Humboldt. You can look on Instagram. He's a cool guy, man. He's been breeding for hash a lot, so a lot of us pay attention to what he's doing to get shit to work in with ours. Because I get asked a lot what washes, man, and I can tell you a lot of them that do, and some of them it's just I can tell you if they're not too. Tell you if they're fucking greasy and just not gonna wash just as well as I can tell you if they're sandy and will.
Now a lot of your stuff, not everything is bred for washing. You got some flower stuff in there
Nah,
too, right?
man, it's all across the board. There's everything from just a connoisseur weed that probably ain't gonna have a bag appeal. Mm. And it might not even have the candy terp someone might be looking for, but it's so unique and so different and so like out of the box that hell people can appreciate it, especially the old school guys. There's definitely candy flavors in there with bag appeal that turn perp just the right amount. And my library is all across the board where it is when somebody wants something, ask them what they're hoping to get or what they're looking for, like what their favorite flavor is, or are you going for flower or hash or concentrate? And if they can tell me, then I can eliminate usually more than half of the library and just be like, yeah, those ones over on that side of the list. You know, those are the good hashes, the sandy ones. Those are the ones that got a good string tech when you rub the bud. And, you know, just some basic, like in the field shit that even a novice can go through and touch their buds and squeeze their feet together for 3 seconds and pull them apart real slowly and look at it and see if you see little spider web looking strings. If you do, it means it's got the right kind of heads to collect in micron bags. And if you touch it and it's just slimy and greasy, like it just touched oil, then it's, you know, never make hash. And it means the heads burst before you can collect them.
Right.
And it
And
makes
now
good BHO.
that's actually what I wanted to touch on a little bit of some of the hash stuff and the resin. Wait, what? So we'll get into that too, actually. So you said the sandier ones are the ones that are better to wash as opposed to the greasy ones because the heads are exploding when you touch them, right? That's what, just to reiterate what you just said.
Yeah, basically, that's what makes it greasy. The trike heads usually look the same on the plant when you're checking them out through a scope or something, but when you touch them, when they, it's just, I don't know who came up with the tech, but it's just a way to see if they burst or if they stay solid. And a lot of them, when you rub them in your fingers and you can just feel the sand, it just,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're going to collect in a micron bag. A
100%.
lot of
So,
times I go around with the scope on my phone. I got an iPhone that's got a killer camera and shit, so I can just zoom right in on the trike heads and I can see what's getting bulbous heads and how they get the weak neck syndrome at the end. It'll break off really easy. And even as I'm breaking up the bud, dude, I can check it out. And as I'm sifting the seeds and shit out of my bud, I can see what's leaving a pile of sand on the tray
right.
underneath it and what's not. So you get some dry sift going on. I can just usually eyeball and
Obviously, it's for different things, right? So I can't say one is going to smoke better than the other. They both have their own different respected effects, right? Or we
mhm.
just so.
No, they all do. It's across the board. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? I'm pretty good at pointing someone towards their favorite flavor or something. If they're wanting the orange flavor, we got
Right.
some of those. Or they like the garlic shit and the walnut tones and shit like that. I'm good at it. I can break that list down. I give you a wide variety of shit. If you
Right.
want to go over some of it later, you'll realize that the spectrum's all over, but it gives you a good variety to choose from.
No, absolutely. And I like
Like
how
not just
so
apples and oranges, but
yeah, no.
there's some nuts and shit in there, and there's a little bakery in there, and
Right.
there's different shit, different flavors, man, for different
That
folks. And
that baked gorilla sounds good.
yeah,
You
it's the
guys
double baked
better
cake
get
by Purple
that
Gorilla, man.
you guys better get your notepads out. We're now in the smoke break session, hash sessions with Brad from Rare Breed. He's breaking down the difference in hashes, the importance of the difference in hashes. If you guys didn't know, now, I know a lot of the people that are into the resin around the server, they do chat about it a lot. The shorter necks, the longer necks, the sensitive ones, like he just said. The what'd you say? The weak neck syndrome. That's a funny one. I
Well,
didn't
the
even
weak neck
know.
syndrome just when the way the head of the trichome attaches to the stalk,
Hmm.
and when it's curled in on the bottom to
Right.
where it's almost gonna break or fall off due to that not being so attached to the stalk. They call it weak neck syndrome. You can just those are the ones that leave a big sandy pile of keef
Hmm.
when you're breaking up your joint or something. Even just a joint will leave like a whole finger scoop full of fucking keef on the bottom of
Right.
the tray. I try to pay attention to that shit. Somewhere on my joints and shit, I'll be paying attention. Oh, this one's sticky as fuck. This one's this that. But I get a lot of my feel for it while it's growing. You know what I mean?
And believe it or not, guys, a lot of people
For
they
one, they
don't.
want to know
They
this
don't.
frozen material for hash. is frozen material for hash. So it's got to get sized up while it's growing. Like you can't size up a dry bud for a solventless hash guy.
And believe it or not, so I was just
You need to do it on the plant because you got to harvest early and you want to get the trikes in the right color, and you only want to get them 10 to 20% amber and not fucking 50 to 75 like you do for mature flower. So there's a lot of things, man. It's about a 15-point checklist, dude, that like
right.
when you're really doing hash production and like what matters, there's about a 15-point checklist to it that you really want to like
Could probably
take
do a
notes
whole
on.
episode on hash alone.
I don't have it all right out in front of me. I can freestyle and spit a bunch of this shit off the dome and make it make sense. But as far as like covering all the bases, it's a lot without having a pen and paper and taking notes.
Breaking up the joints and looking at the differences and paying attention to the small nuanced differences in the phenotypes. I was just making a joke there saying, believe it or not, everybody, a lot of the breeders out there dropping shit they ain't even smoking. All right, we'll get on to that another day though.
The thing with that, man, I think that people can drop whatever level seeds they want and make available to somebody. Nobody's forced to buy anything, but when you make something, you make it available and someone buys it, you just have to stand by whatever might happen that couldn't be in your favor. You know what I mean? If something happens, you have to be able to either justify or make up for it or something. But everybody's selling F1s. Everybody's selling seeds they made for the first. There's so many seed banks and so many everything. I think that as seeds get worked, they just become more valuable. But there's definitely a base that seeds are even. People make F1s and fucking let them go all day long. It's just how it goes. You just got to be able to stand by it.
The genuine craft people that stand by it and stand on it and stand for it. Yeah. Looking at the difference, the little small phenotypical.
You just got to know what these genetics are for. People that want to go their own direction, they're into breeding and want to see a big variety so they can take their pick, are gonna want more in the F1. But with that being said, these guys like want the variety. They want a pheno hunt, like they're on a pheno hunt. And when you do that, the spectrum's going to be wider open in a stage like F1. Because once I start selecting and back crossing or F2, 3, 4 in it, it's going my direction. You know what I mean? And some of these people just want the independence or not. And so, as long as you put it out there for what it is, man, you could sell fucking seeds. You got to have a ditch. To say their seeds, you got to have a ditch. That's it. Right. You know what I mean? Be like, dude, I picked these out of a ditch in fucking Bali or something. I don't know. But just wherever. As long as you're announcing what it is, people will try anything, bro. People are trying to get outside the box. People are, dude, I got gelato crosses up in my shit. I got Skittles crosses up in my shit. I got all kinds of hybrids that you probably heard of that are mainstream up in my shit. But there's also a whole bunch of unique shit that ain't probably anybody in this chat never tried before.
Actually, someone asked about that, what that MX16 was, and since we're talking about hashers, I put up a couple of those papaya crosses.
I don't know the lineage between on the MX16. It was papaya MX16 already when I got it. Mm-hmm. We got some seeds of it, and we grew it out. And the female was fucking a banger, dude. Like I got some videos up. If anybody's interested, I can point them to which one it is. But dude, it had a fucking football of a top on it, man. Mm-hmm. And it was like the biggest cola by far, like almost double the size of every cola in the garden. And we had some big fucking plants, dude. We had some 14 footers, and this one was only about 6 or 7 feet, but it had a top bud that damn near as big as my head. Yeah. So it didn't relate to the pink-haired papaya that we all familiar with. We think papaya, we got to see those pink hairs. It ain't the right one. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't a pink-haired one because we had another one that had the pink hairs, but the one I pollinated to get the seeds from was a different variety. Dude, the bud structure wasn't even the same on them. Mm-hmm. But so that's a really cool one, man. I got some really good pictures of that.
So we don't know what that one is in particular, but it is a papaya MX16 that you were playing with.
I'm just not sure the lineage behind the MX16, but this papaya MX16 was a female, and the blueberry Kim got put on it.
Mm-hmm. Fire. And then I think there was another one too, which is the G-Mob.
I just ran those indoor.
The GMOB papaya MX16 looks fire too.
Yeah, that was with the same exact female mother that we used to pollinate. It was just on the other side of the plant with a different male. There's a blueberry Kim on one side of the plant and the on the other.
Yeah, we have a couple of these online right now. I do want to talk about that.
And both of those are super gritty, super sandy, super like with big heads, long stalks, big heads.
Sorry, I do like how you put on there too.
I tried to the best I can. You know what I mean? There's definitely if I sat down with a couple more people, we can come up with some more clever descriptions. I think that their seeds, you're gonna get something different than what everybody else has got. Every pheno's different, but as long as I'm on point with kind of giving you the genre and pointing in the right direction with some of this flavors, trichome production, some of that, people are usually stoked, man.
Oh, did he just dip out? He'll be back. All right. I think he popped back in here. There he is.
Am I back in now?
Yes, sir. There you are. Thought we lost you.
Yeah, back to fucking you to ask me how I got into cannabis and shit, breeding and all that, man. Oh, fuck, dude, I've been smoking heavy for 30 years, man. I'm 45 years old, and I was definitely fucking smoking tough when I was 15 and even younger. But from
Right.
15 on, it was like you had to have an eighth a day type shit. These heirloom strains that some of these cats weren't even born when they were out and running around. I just got a good eye and a good feel with my body for what's good pot. And
Right.
as I started establishing a library through either collecting clones for a library with the buddies that are running nurseries or storing seed stock and making seeds and putting them up and running them out and shit like that, I just, dude, when shit started going downhill out here, man, and we're trying to figure out how in the fuck we're gonna survive as an artist and a cultivator and a community member and all this shit, man, it just made sense to me to start working your library, be a genetics provider, man. I'm not going to be able to keep up and get the acres to compete with these row croppers of dudes go 2,000 pounds a year. But if I can make my creations prove they're fucking superior in whatever way and get them out to the people and they start doing shit that helps make them money or progress in their endeavors, then I'm fucking winning, man.
That's what we're all about here. I told you guys, Spliff Ninjas to the max. Spliff Ninjas in the chat. Where you at? Hell yeah.
That was weird. Yeah, I walked into Pass AC the joint and fucking all of a sudden my speaker like put you on speakerphone from having to hold it in my ear. Now I'm like, oh sick, I can pull it away from my face now.
There we go. Hey, if you guys didn't hear it, we're now plugged into the Matrix to the 10th degree. Speakerphone's working. Everybody who's in the chat, if you didn't see the offerings, we got a bunch of sick papaya crosses with that blueberry Chem 91. We were just talking about the papaya MX16. We got that GMO B by that same papaya. We got the purple gorilla. We got a bunch of cool things. My favorite one from the offering, which is the blueberry scones, which is biscotti crossed with that blueberry Chem 91. Fuck, that's just fire. So go check it out. Let's see.
I think this one's got a little better structure. The blueberry was a little leggy of a plant. Anyway,
Blueberry
the
Chem.
blueberries, man, it has a really good fucking flavor. Really to be admired from when you're looking for some old school shit. When I'm breeding with the blueberry chem, I think that when I get what I want to stand out, that's when I'm most gonna try to show you off. And then those blueberry scones, man, that's the biscotti by Blueberry Kim. That fucking biscotti that I had back in the day, that was cut that cost thousands of dollars, and that was the gassiest fucking biscotti that I'd seen, man. And put the Blueberry Kim on that, and that was what I call the blueberry scones. Those ones are fucking gas. And then the rainbow rings gonna be killer for the hash guys, man. The rainbow rings F2 from Mars Colt, and that the rainbow rings is rainbow belts. I want to say 3.0, but it might be 2.0 by Red Rings.
Mm-hmm.
That's from my boy Mars Colt up here in Humboldt as well. The baked gorilla was a double baked cake, which is like a crazy GMO triangle kush skunk wedding cake type variety that I got from Kevin Jodrey about 3 years ago, and I worked the blueberry chem on that. And then the purple gorilla got put on it, so that's where the baked gorilla come from. So that one's got like some real heavy crystal content, man. Real thick, real sandy, real fucking. It's gonna be killer for the hash guys. A
Fire. What
lot more on like,
that was the Bakes Gorilla?
yeah, it's the baked gorilla.
Fire.
And then the GDP Urkel by Blueberry Kim, man, that one's fucking. These are like super low profile plants. They say you grow them full term outdoor, and you'll end up with a 3 or 4 foot plant. It's just nothing but fucking some fat top colas on it. It's super discreet. I think some of the pictures I sent you showed the structure of it.
Oh yeah, for
As it
sure.
was
I love that look on that one.
yeah, it was standing 20 feet away, and you'd be like, damn, like look, you could hide those little fuckers in different places. They ain't got almost no stretch, man. Like I think I noted on my notes to you, like 25 to 50% on the stretch. Like it, when you flip it, it barely fucking reaches. Certain applications would actually be good for you, but I think the papaya MX16 blueberry Kim's gonna make a good flour and hash. It's got nice sandy bulbous heads.
Mm-hmm.
Blueberry scones, that one's gonna be the really good flour strain. Purple Gorilla is a really good flour strain. I haven't washed it. It was gritty, but the heads on it look small, like they
Mm-hmm.
weren't as fat and bulbous together. It's like a small micron fucking what you call it, the GMO banana papaya that you got is going to be another hasher. Anything that I got with the GMO banana in it, pretty much automatically going to be in the hash category. And there was nothing that I bred with that wasn't fucking sandy.
Mm-hmm. Which one
Blueberry
was that? The
pies, the blueberry,
GMO banana?
yeah.
Yeah, fire.
And the blueberry pies is a Skittles pie by Blueberry Kim, and the Skittles pie is Skittles by Georgia Pie from Raw Genetics, and that was a hunted by Matt of ETO and Emerald Triangle Organics, and I brought the keeper cut of the Skittles pie back and put it on the Blueberry Kim, and we got some really amazing phenos of that, man. We got some purples that really had the fruit kind of grapey type cakeness to it, and then we
Fire.
also had there's more green like gassy Kim leaning ones too. And I don't know if I sent you a picture of the green pheno and the purple. Maybe it's just the purple that I
I
sent you.
think
But
just the
if you
purple,
want to
yeah.
check out some of the other phenos that we found in those seeds, dude, it's cool as fuck, dude. They chunk up.
Mm-hmm.
They do killer like full term outdoor and shit.
Yeah.
The rainbow rings one, man, is going to be the killer hash. It's actually a big yielder too. That had one of the biggest buds out of the room.
You can't let
No
them know about
tops
the
on it.
rainbow
But
rings yet. We're gonna slow roll that one next weekend. We're gonna sneak attack them with the rainbow rings. That one was one of my favorites on the list too.
okay.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I was just going down the list. On the baked gorilla, we just talked about that. Talk about the blueberries, the GDP Urkel, and the fog. The fog's gonna
The
be
fog I want to touch on because that's
superfruit.
got the African
Yep.
orange bud in
So
there,
that
or
was
which
a
one is it?
forbidden. That was forbidden fruit by African One, and
Oh,
African One is a strain I think come from Equilibrium Genetics, and our buddy put the forbidden fruit on it, and he passed those to me, and then I put the purple gorilla on it.
fire. Yeah, that
And
one
those
caught my
are
eye.
when it was first growing, man. It was pretty cool. It had a lot of purple tricheads on it. I get to scope and shit. As soon as trichomes start forming on the buds, even week 2 and 3, I'm just in there scouting them out and shit. And it was the one out of the room that had the purple trichome milk heads. It was sick. Even had purple stalks and shit. I got some cool pictures of them.
Fire. Oh yeah, those are always nice and unique. That one was the fog, right? FOG. That was nice.
Yeah,
Oh
it's
yeah.
forbidden orange gorilla.
We just went through the list of strains. If you got a couple more minutes, we talked about some of the histories and origins. We talked about some of these strains. I do want to touch on your core community member, and you're also involved in the skateboarding too with the skate shop and Humboldt Skate Lab. So I wanted you to touch a little bit on that project and what you're doing with the Humboldt Skate Lab and maybe some of the events that you got going on.
You're doing some cultivating in 2016. Decided to try to find a way. Shit was just going south, man, and we didn't know what we were going to leave in anymore. And prices already dropped 7%, 75%. I was just trying to find a way to take what I earned working on the hill and do something positive. And I grew up a little skater kid in Eureka, getting kicked out of all the parking lots, trying to wax up the curb and yelled at and all that shit. We had a sick little skate. We've had a skate park here in Eureka since 2010. And in 2016, I was selling, collecting fucking skateboards for years, and finally just saw the opportunity and wanted to take my earnings and go start something. And I didn't know what I was getting into at first. I thought we were just going to be hooking the kids up with boards, but turned into a whole fucking nonprofit that we can raise money and do shit for the kids throughout the year in a whole bunch of different areas. And I formed a skate team. Been there 8 years, 16, and
Eight
made two or
years?
three skate videos, shop videos.
8 years? That's the you said 8 years?
Yeah, this October will be 8 years we've been there. Well, we had a lot of rad shit. I just it went way beyond just having a
Right.
retail community. A lot of cool shit, and the parents really embrace it because the kids get a lot of stoke out of it, and the little fundraisers and the demos and shit that we do. And we got a little skate team that we raised money and took them to skate camp for a few years and do contests at the skate park, and they let us shut off the streets down in a certain part of the Eureka during their little Arts Alive thing.
Mhm.
Let us have little community skate sessions in the middle of the street with everybody and bring ramps and rails and all that shit, and bring some food and set up a couple little booths. And it's a good outlet, man. The skate shop is cool. We carry all the cool skate shit too. We got 50, 60 accounts with all the major brands in there. But I
Right.
think it's what we do as a community participant that really adds value to where we're at, not just the retail store.
No, that's super dope. And yeah, shout out to you for doing that with the community, getting kids some boards and hosting the events and the art and everything else, getting people together. That's super sick. Super dope.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I do more of it as I can. A lot of the times I'm head down fucking trying to work this rare breed shit, and then I got to be a
Hmm.
dad, and then I can do the skate lab shit, and got to prioritize everything. And not only do I'm the rare breed shit starting to be a lot, I'm learning a lot, learn how to climb the ladder and how to take it from being someone that's just making seeds and making them available to turn it into a business. You got to operate like a business. You got to learn having a skate shop helped me a lot. I understand the gist of a lot of it, but there's a lot of the tech side of this and how to set things up and how to get your sites going and how to get some online movement going. That I've been lucky enough to hang out with people that help navigate me pretty good.
Yeah. Shout out to you once again. And shout
I'm
out
just
to,
trying to do what I do. I do everything I can. A lot of people, AC and you, and a lot of people around me that are doing their part to help turn my shit into a thing.
it's dope. Keeping it craft too. And once again, shout out to AC. She's making me laugh in the chat. Hopefully, I can do what I do, like you said. And I'm excited for the seeds. I'm going to definitely be trying some out myself too. But beyond the seeds, hopefully, we could do something with the community events and the art and bring it all together somehow in the future. And I hope you like 10 too. It's a cool space. People growing, learning how to grow, and then also getting into the genetics as a whole. We appreciate you for coming up here and doing this. I don't want to take up your whole night. If anybody has any questions in the chat, I know you guys want to get to the grand prize. And what are you smoking on now? I heard a lighter go off.
That joint out. I don't know where it's at. I gotta find. No, I passed it and ain't got it back yet. Left me with the fucking vape pen. No, I do got a whole little briefcase in there, man, with 25, 30 something different kinds that the different phenos of the same shit. Some of it I just ain't got to all the phenos yet, and it was so much. I had
Hmm.
the last run I did was 84 plants, and it was 41 different kinds. That was the Purple Gorilla line. So we're
Fuck
just
yeah.
running through it, and I did the same with the blueberry chem. I try to make a bigger, broader spectrum with one line versus having like dozens of lines all over the place. I'll get lost, and like we
Hmm.
didn't really get into it, but the Purple Gorilla come from Mitch over at Purple Cross Collective, and he's just the OG, man. He's the guy we all look up to. While he's around, we're gonna be paying attention to his ways and his genetics that he's built over the years and never really made available. I was lucky to get some passed down to me. Yeah, man, that's how the Purple Gorilla come into the mix. But looking forward to seeing all the different phenos, the different varieties, and people are pulling out all this shit between the two Blueberry Cam and Purple Gorilla lines, and I'm basically making available.
I'm excited to see as well. And like I said, I'm going to be popping some. I got that special pack from you. Shout out to you for that. And
Yeah,
I
that's
was
cool,
only,
man. I like doing that project. That was fun.
yeah, and some people keep saying the SDG. It's not the SDG, not Stanky Dank. They mean Skunk Devil.
Before you go, what's the most extreme grow environment you ever grown in?
The most extreme grow environment I ever growed in is basically just the snow, man, and having to pull tarps with the fucking snow on them and being hella cold. I've been in the heat before and been to heat stroke status where you just gotta quit, so that's pretty extreme. But I think working in the snow, man, when it's freezing ass cold and your plants made it to the end of the year and you just ain't had enough dry space and enough time and manpower to get it down. I think some of those times when we're still having to pull tarps and fucking do all that shit in the snow, man, it's up at 4,000, 5,000 feet elevation. It's just not good.
Yeah, I've missed a couple questions. Anybody else in the chat have questions? Make sure you drop them. A bunch of them got bumped out of the chat earlier. I apologize. I missed. It looks like Brad can see the chat, so drop them in the chat.
Yeah, they said they get both there that they ain't seen nothing survive the snow yet. I got a badass video of this clone that I run around with, Rare Cake, that made it through the snow one time, and fucking all that shit did was chunk the fuck out and turn all black. And I got like the killer's 10-minute video of me walking through the garden with all the snow all over the plants, like 6 inches of fucking snow on the buds, and I was just shaking the snow off and doing close ups of the buds. And dude, it's as ripe as it's wet, but it's as ripe as can be, man. No mold. Fucking, it was just like Wow. It's crazy. I'll start
mold.
showing that
That
one off.
sounds dope.
I got it back in rotation and shit. We got some healthy ones, but that rare cakes one, I'm gonna be working up into some seed projects at the
Fire.
end of the year.
Covered in snow, some real fresh frozen.
Was, man. It's a killer video. I think I already posted it. I went live one time and then posted the live on Instagram with a. It's a sick little video, man.
Fuck yeah.
I could probably go back and share it in my story. So yeah, and I know everybody here's on Discord, but if you got Instagram, man, you gotta be following me, Rare Breed.
Yeah, drop it really quick in the chat. It is at Rare Breed Humboldt. If you guys go to the Upper Vault Seed Bank, he's one of the few that we follow. You can just check it there. And also, you do have a couple more questions. Someone said, besides Rainbow, someone said, get him a journal. They said, where'd that go? You guys are too quick. It always bumps it out. For washers, if not Rainbow Rings, what's your favorite? What's your favorite washer, if not Rainbow Rings?
And what you got right there, I'm gonna say the GMO banana papaya and the baked gorilla. And I think the papaya blueberry camel would be good too. Both the papaya crosses, one with the blueberry cam and one with the G Mob heavy resin sandy and the rainbow rings as well. And then the baked gorilla, I think as well. And the other is gonna make more good flour, man.
Oh yeah. I'm super
Good
stoked.
taste.
And you guys posted the link. You posted the Instagram too. If you guys are on Instagram, chop over there, give them a follow, drop some likes, drop some comments. Super dope. I only rolled out about half of the packs that we have on an exclusive drop for you guys. Once again, I'll be bugging everybody on the email list throughout the week. We have a whole nother set of super fire. I really appreciate Brad doing that for us. And also, one lucky member is going to score the whole line. And I'm excited. You got yours. Someone said the Blueberry Chem AG. It said, is that in seeds or is it all crosses?
I'm not. I'm
On the
not.
menu.
I only got a handful, not even a handful of the original blueberry chem seeds left, and I just got to be like super sparse for the rest of my life with them and make sure that I can run across the right preservation project to make it worth popping them. Then I'll release them after that. I don't have a problem with it, but these are still like the tiny bag that I inherited that, I was able to get what I did out of, and the rest I'm just holding on to, but I didn't keep the mail after I used it. And I tried running around with some vials of pollen. So I collect pollen after I do my shaking or pollinating the room or whatever it
Right.
is. I'll cut it down, put it on screens and shit, and collect the pollen and put it in vials. And I can just run around at the end as shit's going into flower, and homies let me dust branches and shit here and there to play around. But I noticed that when I kept it, I didn't store it. I was running around with it, and it just went bad. So I was bummed that I didn't. Actually, I could have made some back crosses and shit, but it's cool. I can fucking start some more seeds, make some F2s, and go that direction.
That does sound like a good one.
I'll tell
Blueberry
you what they
scones and
did. They
me.
basically, what the fucking blueberry Kim did, it basically put a bunch of structure and resistance on all these little fucking hype shit that I used in the crosses. You know what I mean? I think a lot of the flavors and bag appeals that you're gonna like from these the Skittles pie and the fucking G Mob and some of these other ones, man. I think that the blueberry Kim just added a killer structure to anything that was lacking. I think a lot of the flavors are carrying over. Really proud of that blueberry Kim, man. I tell you, you ain't never gonna hear me shut up about it ever. I'll move on and do other work with other shit, but that was the first big sentimental fucking foundation project to get me some seeds and
Right.
do what the fuck I want to do and run through them and start the process after that. It'd be hard to get another one to top that one sentimentally as far as that shit goes.
No, absolutely. Rarity, sentimental, all of the vibe. Like you said, I like the ashes thing that you had made the parallel with.
Yeah, man,
Which is cool.
these fucking hill genetics, dude. I'm telling you, I keep telling everybody the best genetics in the world you ain't gonna find at the Emerald Cup. You can find them in the dresser drawer from some old man or lady up in the fucking hills, mom and pops that had them in their dresser drawer, and you pop them and they're still good. And next thing you know, you got some shit from the 80s and 90s that hasn't seen fucking humanity touch it. And if you can get anything pre-cookies, you're fucking winning, dude.
I've never seen LEDs or
No
nothing like
offense,
that.
no offense,
And that's
fucking
no,
no
that's a
offense
big
to
thing
cookies,
that
but I'm really
we replaced the cookies with the R, so it's a rookies. We're along the same
there.
lines
You
here.
go.
What we really do stand for is the craft stuff, true quality, genetic,
Yeah.
the origins of things.
Just trying to, yeah, I'm just standing on a lot of the heirloom genre foundation genetics that I work with. You'll see me with eventually all the hype shit to keep fucking relevant, but there's a foundation to a lot of the genetics that I push through that you're just going to see a good solid one that anybody'd be stoked to work with some of these structures and shit that I'm able to put out. And I got documentation on all this shit. I fucking got 17,000 fucking pictures and clogging my shit up that I got to deal with right now, you know, and it's just how to put them all in the right folder and how to kind of, you know, I'm getting better at now as I take a photo in the room or in the garden, putting it in its own folder. But I used to take them at random and then have a problem wondering what's what later when you're sorting through hundreds.
Thousands of pictures. And if you guys are tuned in here, you guys are now part of the Rare Squad. And if the people have the tokens, you guys actually do have them on your profile. I'm looking forward to doing something special here with 10. So if you are still here, amp the vibes one more time for Brad so he knows how we do it, and we can do some cool collabs and cool community stuff with 10. Maybe maybe we can bleed it all together. That'd be dope.
Discord's a trip. It's a little too much for me right off the rip because it's going hella fast. I'm like, whoa. Like, I get it, dude. It's all fun. Everybody's chatting. It's just the rate that shit goes, dude. It's almost like fucking some iShow speed shit. My kid watches these fucking
If you guys,
internet fucking moguls.
you haven't even seen it. This is like, we didn't break our records, but if you guys show speed, if you guys are in here, you gotta show them how we really party. We'll do one of these Instagram things. That's really fun. Maybe we'll, like, if we can come up with something, yeah, we'll come up with something off the record. We can't get too deep. How did we go up in numbers? There was like 38 a second ago. All the early birds get the spliffs. Y'all sent the invites too late, man. I appreciate you coming up here. I really want to get through this first drop with everyone, explore some genetics in the community here with what we got, and then maybe I'm saying we could do a panel one or even a follow-up one. I want to hone in on some of the more specific topics that we touched on. Maybe we could do some grow tips too. You got your black belt out there with the sunlight, and maybe help some of the home growers translate some of the grow technique that you use to help themselves. So I think that could be.
If I had some SFV right now, I'd be on this grape jelly donut shit, man. It's got like some old grape ape terp fucking. Hey, but this shit's heady as fuck, man. It's no joke. It's definitely one like the past month or two. I've been fucking chiefing on it.
Which one is it?
Starting to cost me some loot, so I got to back off. It's called grape jelly donut.
Nice. For 3 packs of Rare Breed. The community is vibing, and I know you guys want to see that Rare Breed Upper Vault merch. I wasn't able to get it together this week, but you guys showed up and showed out, so hopefully we can get 2 coin and make sure you turn the notifications on, and if you're not part of the email.
Yeah, it's just too much to fucking talking about. We'll get into that for sure.
Smoke sesh all day, and then I'm gonna have to book a flight and fly my ass up to the Triangle, bring some fire genetics with me and some smoke, and we'll do a cool visual podcast.
Coming September, man. Coming September.
September would be cool.
Flowered out.
Yeah, that would be dope. Come check it out, and we'll do a visual podcast.
That's when you get to see all the fucking
first visual podcast that we'll be doing on the Smokebreak.
We got to put you in the back of a dog van to take you there, but we'll get you there and back safe.
Risk it for the biscuit. It's all good.
We'll take them up Murder Mountain. I'm sorry. You can help us get our reputation for Murder Mountain back, because that fucking show is just a clown of a show to represent where that place is at and what's going on out there. I'll take you out there, and it's pretty fucking cool, dude. It's nice, and it's not.
They not like us. And also, I did spend some time making some hand cut out Rare Breed Upper Vault prints for everybody that did buy a waffle. You are gonna get the Smokebreak EP445 custom little print. It comes with every pack that you get from our seed bank. So all the collector items, make sure you save them, show somebody that knows somebody, and they'll get you something that nobody else has.
I don't know who can see, but that big purple plant they're asking in the picture, it's next to a ladder. It's a fucking 12-foot fucking ladder, or maybe it's 10. I think it's 10-foot ladder. There's a 300-gallon pot, dude. That plant was big as fuck, like 12, 13 feet fucking plant down in Laytonville. But it's common in that area to get 2, 3, 4 pound plants all day, and then you time it right and you get big plants out, and they just go. You can get the 5 to 8 pound plants, no problem too, and bigger and better areas. You know?
Fire.
So he's spinning the wheel, and then whoever comes up, they get hacked, and then you just keep going until someone's left. Hey, dude, we didn't even defoliate that plant. I don't know if you can tell. We never leafed it. Fucker just grew open. We never leafed it. We didn't even lollipop it or nothing. Like, if we did, it was only the bottom fucking 6 inches. If you look at the plant, it wasn't never leafed. it just turned like fall colors, and a lot of it fell off. It was an amazing plant. That was Durban Gushers by Dos Salato, grown down in Lake. Oh yeah, there you go with the box. Sick.
I'm muted. Can you hear me? Hello?
There you go. We can hear you now. Where you been?
My bad. I was muted the whole time.
You were muted the whole fucking time, dude. We were, yeah.
Dude, I've been talking. I'm fired. I apologize. All right.
I hear a helicopter at the back. Oh, I see the chopper. It's fucked out over the ridge line. Way the fuck over there. Cool though, man. They do it like that for the community, man. That's cool that you help hook them up for fucking taking their time and tune in and listen to this shit.
Some people tap in for a while. We try and do it Friday at 4:20 just to keep it consistent. I appreciate you coming up and doing this too. It does make it that much better. We do every Friday, regardless if we have a guest or not. We give seeds out every Friday from all of the participating breeders. And if we don't have any participating breeders from the seed bank, I obviously have some of the stuff that I made. Yeah, every single Friday. Shout out to everybody who's still hanging out. Massive love to Brad for taking some time on this Friday, joining us, giving us some insight and background to Rare Breed Humboldt, before Rare Breed Humboldt, and also touching on some of the new exclusive lines that we have available at the Upper Vault. We stand true to the genuine quality and the people that have helped pave the pathways, still out doing it and maintaining integrity at the same time. Shout out to Brad, Rare Breed Humboldt. Shout out to all the Humboldt growers. Shout out to all the growers from around the globe, near and far, wherever you are, grown big, grown small, I don't give a fuck. Grow 'em all. All right. If anybody's still hanging out, looks like he's in the chat. So if you guys are here, light it up one last time and show him how Ton does it so we can get that encore episode.
All right, man. I appreciate it, man. We'll get on here again soon. Your selection's exclusive to you on some of those. Yeah, I appreciate you though, man. Good platform, dude, and good vibe. I'll be back.
Hell yeah, I don't want to take up all your night. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Friday and smoke something dank. I'm going to roll something myself here.
Right on, man. Appreciate everything. I'll talk to you guys later.